Well, Happy New Year, everybody. Hopefully this year will be a little bit better than last year. Just wanted to show you a project I've got going on here with the shed. This houses our pressure tank for our water system. Over Christmas, just gone 2 days, and we had our pressure tank freeze on us, so that was a bit annoying to have to wait for that to thaw out enough to be able to run our water again. We got a little thirsty. We've actually got a box enclosure we're making inside here. I'll go ahead and bring you in there and show you what that looks like. Alright, so here's the box I've been putting together. There was one here before, but even the top of it was not even level. It was coming out from the side here up at an angle, so it wasn't even a great shelf on the top. But I've taken a lot of the studs. Lumber prices are pretty bad right now, so I'm trying to reuse whatever I can. And I've been putting this together. Got this secured today. They boxed up this building somewhat well, at least, but the problem they ran into is that when they'd had some pipes burst, that some of the sill plate back in this corner here had gotten eaten away, just disintegrated really, and a squirrel worked his way inside. And that squirrel then ripped through every single wall in here. You can see I've taken out all the insulation here. So all they actually had in here was insulation all throughout here, and then it stopped right here at the bottom of these beams here. And they had filled in with insulation in between these sections here. But that squirrel, the moment he got through any of this, he was able to run freely back in here and get into every single one of these. And then he was able to work his way up into the top as well. He was a very capable squirrel, had a pretty good ability to just tear through whatever he wanted to. So for the box over here, had to get rid of some of the sill plates on the outside in that back corner, and I also had to get rid of the sill plate here. So I've got a treated 2x6 there instead. Here's what the sill plate did look like that was there. So obviously this needed done. It didn't look as bad from the top, but obviously this was not going to be something we could reuse. So in here, we've got the same situation as out here, where we've got this plywood, then this blackboard, and then there's kind of a gap here. So I took a couple more pieces of plywood, cut them, and I fit them in here with a little bit of overlap. And that's what's resting on the top of these three sides. The back wall is completely plywood, so nothing to worry about on that one. Then I added in some R13 batting and got that in all of these sides here. And then I didn't want any more water damage, because what'll happen if this does end up freezing again is that the relief valve here, when that water couldn't get into the pressure tank, and especially when it couldn't even get to the house when that was still frozen, what it would do is that it would spew water out the bottom here. So I really don't want that water to get on the insulation and cause any sort of mildew or mold issues. So I've got these walls up here on the box now. And what I'm planning to do next, at least, is to go ahead and take some of this insulation. This is actually like garage door insulation. And we're going to put this in as the next layer on top. And then put some more structure like this above that then we'll fill in some batting. We don't have any source of heat in this shed. But one of the beams that I'm going to add in here, I'm going to go ahead and put a light fixture on. And we'll wire that in. And then have that with an incandescent light bulb in it. I've heard that plenty of people have been able to take a high wattage incandescent, which may be a little harder to find nowadays, but get one of those in here, that would generate enough heat that it should keep everything in here from freezing. And of course, if worst came to worst, I could put a little space heater just on in there. All right, well, I went ahead and cut into the wire I have over here that's coming from this light here. And I've got that split out here where I've got another wire coming out, and I put in a light. And I'll go ahead and get some batting put in up here. And I think the only incandescent bulb I found was a bug light, actually. That's why it's colored the way it is to not attract bugs, which shouldn't be a problem out here, but it is a 60 watt, so should give some heat. I could get a higher wattage one if I need it, but I really don't think I'll need to turn on this light at all given the insulation, unless it gets down, below maybe 0 degrees Fahrenheit or so. But got that finished up, so now it'll just be putting in the batting in the last section up here, and then I'm going to go ahead and get my plywood. secured around the side, started getting some of those pieces cut here. And then I'll get the batting in on the walls and just use another piece of plywood out here for a door. Just throw some hinges in the plywood and we should be good to go. We got this little temperature monitor, and this top number here is connected to a remote sensor, which I've got sitting right here. The bottom number is from the device itself. But I'm going to go ahead, take this guy, and set him in here. I'm going to let that sit in there. I'm going to keep this light on in here, and we're going to see if that temperature changes and what the temperature difference is between these two sensors, the one inside the box and the one outside the box, and see how effective this is. It's still about 11 a.m. right now, so probably gonna get, both of them are probably gonna get warmer, but we'll see if that remote sensor has a higher temperature than the other, even as they both climb. All right, well, an artist's work is never quite finished, but I think I got this place like I want it. Finally got it all boxed in. Had one little gap out here I had to cover there, but I've got about a 1/2 inch lip all around here, just make it look a little bit nicer. This will be a good spot. I can even put down some axes or other sharp implements, saws and things. Make sure the kids will never get close to it. I did happen to have this laying around, so that's a nice little feature for it to be able to keep this nice and closed. Got everything insulated in here, and it is holding in heat quite well. Went ahead and propped up that thermometer, and as you can even see, even with me opening the door there and probably let out a degree, we've got a substantial difference inside and out. And it's like 7:30 at night now, so it's been quite a while, and that difference has only increased. So pretty excited to have this finally done. Had to add even in some boards back here along the edge just because that batting could be gotten into. Back here I've got it all the way to the stud that was there. So even though it seems like there's a little bit of a gap back there, it's not an entry point. So nothing will be able to get in here unless I leave that door open. So I guess that's the main thing to remember now at this point. But gave us a nice seam over here. And I guess I'll do the final test, other than cold nights, and just see how level we are. All right, that's pretty good. So I'm definitely pleased with that. So like I said before, it was probably something more like this as the slope out. So did that, got an extra outlet put out here, got that light put inside, and probably go ahead and turn off that light for now, but when it gets to colder days, we'll see what we need to do. I actually like to keep this thermometer just over here, or I can just walk up to the shed edge and from the outside after we put up our chickens at night, and I can look in and I'll know exactly what the temperature is inside of that enclosure, as well as what it is here at the window. The window is usually a degree or two colder, but then the actual rest of the shed is. The only thing I still might do is take some of that leftover reflective insulation, and I may go ahead and attach that onto here, but I haven't quite decided what I want to do for the door there. So anyway, if you've got similar issues going on at your place, maybe this gives you some ideas as to what you can do. And just wanted to share another project we had going on here at the homestead. Thanks for watching.